We are installing a backup camera. So seems fairly straightforward. What I'm doing is basically trying to route my wires, kind of see where I want them, and I think I got them where I want them. I think what I'm going to do here is just tie it in right here. Unfortunately, you'll be able to see that wire, but it is what it is. Then I'm going to actually put a piece of rubber there so that way it doesn't chafe against here. So I'm going to put it on that edge there. Then all I did was ran them under here. I'm going to just run wire under the carpet. I had it originally tucked down here running under the car, but these RCA ends here are exposed. Even when you tie them together or when you connect them to the other end, and they're kind of exposed. I put some, I don't know if you guys can see under there, I haven't hit it under there. I put some electrical tape under there because I originally had them running under here, and I just didn't want the weather to get into connections and stuff. And then I thought about it, I was like, well, I don't really feel comfortable with that, especially with water spitting up and stuff back here. I just didn't want to get the RCA connections corroded or anything like that. So I decided I'm just gonna run it under here, and then there's a space behind here where that sub is, that factory sub is, and amp and all that. Plus I got storage here for like jack and tow equipment. And all I did was fed it through here and then drilled a hole. You guys probably can't see it. Maybe you can now. Yeah, drilled a hole there, and then I'm gonna feed the wire in down through here because you have to put the positive leads, these red leads here, and one other one I am missing. Where is it? Damn. Oh, right here. I already fed it through. So here, the red ends, you have to tie them into the reverse light. So you got this reverse light here. Somebody actually put an aftermarket light in there, so that's pretty dope. But you tie it into the green wire here, that's your positive, and then negative. So you tie it into the green wire, the two red leads go to that so it can get the signal from the head unit when I put it in, and then the black one right here will just go to ground, and I'll probably just tie it in somewhere, make a new ground or something right there. So that's where I'm at right now. Should be a fairly straightforward install, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and knock it out. All right, y'all, it looks like a mess right now, but it's all done, at least from the wiring and all that from the back end here. So I'm just gonna put everything back together. But just to give a quick rundown here, so it's the reverse light here. I actually have it running under my carpet on through here. This is the wire that's gonna go to the front, to the deck, and I'm gonna tie that into the deck and tie the positive lead into the hot lead for the reverse camera up front. So that'll be good. Got the positive lead from the camera and from the lead that's going to go to the front. That's tied into the reverse light here. So when the reverse light is activated, it'll turn on the camera and tie it into the monitor in the front. And then this is the ground from that lead also. I have it grounded right here to the back of the car. So yeah, and then I didn't have a grommet, so I just used one of those little wire covers here, and I just drilled a hole in there and just tied it into there. So that should be good to go, so that way no chafing will occur. And I'm just gonna put it all together. And I'm in here trying to attack this mess. I'm trying to put my stereo deck in, and I had got an adapter, wiring harness adapter, but it actually ended up already having one, although this one's all jacked up. Again, this is how the previous owner put this thing in, man, and it's not cool. I mean, just some wires are just literally just tied together with electrical tape and all that. So I'm just trying to fix this mess. They ran aftermarket speaker wire, if you guys can kind of see that, aftermarket speaker wire to the deck. I'm thinking because they had an amp or something like that, but I actually just originally attached the original wires back in, and here on the side here, I'll show you. So these wires here, this is basically the stock wiring harness for you know, your various speaker wires and all that kind of stuff, and they attached aftermarket speaker wire and cut in to the door speakers and all that. So I just I attached the original wires back together. I'm just gonna leave these here just in case I want to run them back a little later on or something if I change it. That way they're already ran and I don't have to take all this stuff apart again. But what I'm gonna do is, if I hook up an amp, because they had an amp under here, as you can see there's already a power wire for the amp and a ground and all that. So if I run into the amp, then I'm just gonna attach speed wire from the amp to the deck. And speed wire is basically just ties into your regular stock harness in the front by the deck, and you can just run those wires from your original harness all the way back to the amp. So they call that speed wire. And so I've actually never used it before. I've always actually kind of done it the way that these guys have done it, but it'll be a far more efficient way to do it if I ever hook up an amp again. So that's pretty much where I'm at now. Also just trying to attack this alarm. So there's already an alarm wired in, except it never had a remote. So I bought a remote for it and actually ended up finding that this was the remote that came with it. So it's actually a pretty nice remote. And so I found this remote used on eBay, and you know, it was a pretty penny, but there were some shipping issues for me to come to, or basically to get to me. And so the guy actually is going to refund me 25% of what I paid for it. So that's pretty dope. But it actually works and everything. Works really well so far, at least. I'm just trying to basically just making sure it's all in good working order, and then just kind of go from there. So, but yeah, y'all, this is what I'm tacking right now. So I'm pretty much almost done. I just got a wire in the deck, and I'm going to do that right now. So again, this is the Jensen flip out deck screen, or whatever we're gonna call it. The part number should be right here if you can see it, VX4014. And it's actually pretty good. I'm actually happy that I got it. I know the lighting's not great. Let me see if I turn this on, if it helps. Probably not, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good deck, and I'm happy with it for what I paid for it. I think I paid like $230 or something like that, maybe $240 shipped. I think I just got it from Amazon, and for what it is, it's good, man. And so let me go ahead and plug my phone in. It has Apple CarPlay and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on so you guys can kind of see it. So as soon as you put power to it, flips out, turned on. There's that. But what I like about it is it's kind of basic looking. It's not too crazy, and but everything's kind of controlled with the touchscreen. However, if you still need to access some things, it has some buttons there. But Apple CarPlay comes right up, and it lets you know on the phone too. But yeah, the only thing I would say that's a negative about it, if there's anything, is the touchscreen isn't very responsive. It is if you have to like hold your finger there for a second. So like, see how I just kind of tapped it and doesn't do anything. But if I hold it there for a little bit longer, then it'll work. So I can go to Spotify. I'm gonna turn the volume down though, so it doesn't play any music. But yeah, so it has Spotify attached to it. It has all your library stuff and all that there. If you can see, the lighting's horrible in here. But I can go to my maps. It'll bring up my maps there. So Orange Theory Fitness pops up. That's where I work. And I go to my phone, all that, or people that I've talked to. And you can go through all that stuff there at the top. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. If I need to go back home, I just put Jensen home and it comes up here. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty dope. I mean, you can plug in a USB to it. You have a little SD chip or whatever card. Bluetooth, you can do a screen mirroring. So if I want to actually see what I'm doing on my phone to hear, like if I want to play YouTube videos or something like that, it'll do that. It'll hook up Sirius XM radio, and has all your different connections and all that. I also have a backup camera that I installed, so let me show you that real quick. So the only negative about it, too, about the flip out screen being here is this shifter. So I had to take the shifter off, and hold on, let me put it in here real quick, because if you can see right here, the shifter is actually kind of in the way of the screen. So when the screen folds down and flips out and things like that, it actually hits the shifter. So what I did is the shifter actually has a screw that you can take out and you can pop out the shifter. So it's still connected by the tow haul button and the wire that goes down. So I actually went to the junkyard because I needed some other parts for this, and found a 02 Escalade that's the same year, make, and model, and color, and everything as mine. So I took the shifter off that, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the original shifter so it's all intact. That way, if I ever want to put it back, I have it. But I have the other shifter, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut it down a little bit, and then it looks exactly the same. I'm gonna cut it down a little bit, and I'm just gonna just shorten it so that way it just stays out the way. So I already have a shifter for that. And let me put it in reverse so you guys can see the camera, if it'll go in reverse for me. There we go. And there we go. So that little blurriness is water because it's been raining. But yeah, I like it. So pops right up when you put it in reverse. Take it out of reverse, goes right back to where it was. So, but yeah, y'all, I am happy with that. And shoot, I'm excited about it. So I think it'll be definitely a good upgrade for it right now. What else would I have going on here? Oh, so I had not a factory, but an aftermarket alarm put in. And it's still all wired in and intact. And I found a remote for it, which is this. And for the first couple days, it was actually working good. And for some reason last night, this remote started wigging out. And for the amount of money that I paid for this remote, I mean, I would actually like to get another one or a better one. So I contacted the guy. He has another one, so I'm just waiting for his response to see if I'm able to exchange it, because I don't know if it's the alarm system. I think it's the remote, because the alarm and everything was working great when it was actually hooked it up to it. And then last night I just hit the button and the whole remote just started kind of act weird. I don't know. And ever since then, it's been acting really weird. It won't arm anymore, or sometimes it'll arm and sometimes it won't disarm. And it's been acting really, really strange. So I'm going to see if he's able to exchange it for me. So going to go ahead and attack that. But let me shut this off. So on the Caddy here, if you shut it off, it still applies power to everything. So that way, if you're just shutting it off and just sitting here, you can listen to music or keep your phone charged or whatnot. But if I open the door, it shuts off. Pause this for a second, then it's gonna close. So yeah, so I think for the buy, y'all, I mean, versus like getting a, you know, like I have a Pioneer one, the really, really nice Pioneer one, and that thing's like, you know, 380 bucks or something like that. You could probably get it as cheap as 350, but for the most part, they're going for $400 and $500. For that. And the double den is a little bit cheaper, but I couldn't fit a double den in here because of the year. It's like a den and a half, so a double den won't fit. I could buy another one of these for an 04 newer model. However, the double den still won't fit because of the amount of space that you have here. You'd actually probably have to change these controllers and go with a different, a newer controller setup or something like that. I just don't want to mess with it, and it's not that big of a deal. So, but yeah, it is what it is. So, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so far, and it's working out pretty good. So, anyways, now I have music, and I'm loving it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and chime on out. Oh, and it plays DVDs too, and I hooked it up so like it'll just play DVDs while we're driving or on a road trip or something like that. So technically you're supposed to have it hooked up to the brake, so that way when you brake, it'll play DVD, it'll play the DVD, but I just have it hooked up where you don't have to do that, so it'll just play all the time. So but doesn't mean I'm gonna watch movies and drive. I'm not gonna do that, but you know, if we go on a road trip or something like that, then I guess, you know, it'd be a nice perk to have. So anyways, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and get resting for the rest of the day. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, y'all. And deuces. Peace